Hey y'all, welcome back to All Things Duncan, back with another hair video. As you can see, I show you the setup to the style that I'm gonna do, and this is my daughter's hair. Yes, I do my daughter's hair. She is my favorite model, but nonetheless, we are doing a Valentine's Day look today. I did a pop of color with some mixtures of different pinks. I will show you a clip of the actual color that's in the back of her hair. But now I'm going to show you how I do my heart braid. In the second row of her hair, we did heart braids on every braid. This is a pretty detailed braid, but once you get down the design, it's pretty easy to do. You just have to take your time, try not to rush, and really make sure that your parting is nice and precise and neat. As you can see, I'm using my African parting tool to split it down in the middle. Once you have your square that is going to be the base of the heart, split it into two, and you want to continue to mold down the hair with the gel. Here's a different angle. Once you split it into two sections, you're going to split that half into another part, and this is going to be the middle of the heart that goes up. So depending on how you make that slant to the part will depend on how big, how slim, or how big or that the heart will come out. So you go from the middle and slant it up to the top corner of the part. Add some more gel, and you're gonna braid from the middle up and around back down to the section that's at the bottom. So this is real time. I'm gonna show you how I braid it. And if your client or whoever's hair that you're braiding is thick, then you don't want to add any braiding hair. At least I don't add any braiding hair, and if you do, add a little bit. But when you're doing stitch braids and any type of cornrows, if the hair is thick enough, just don't add any braiding hair. I don't add any braiding hair to this braid until we get down to the bottom. So I'm just letting you see how I stitch. Sometimes I use the African parting comb, but with my daughter, you see, she moves a lot. When you're doing kids, they move a lot. I don't know if you can see in the mirror. My other daughter is back there, so I have to really just go in with my pinky, and I'm a little more firm with my daughter than I am with anybody else, so please don't be alarmed. She was just fine, but I had to make sure she stayed still, because with these designs and stitch braids, you want to make sure that your client is keeping a steady head. I do not recommend this for little kids who have never got their hair braided before. If it's their first time getting their hair braided, I do not recommend trying to do a heart design or any type of design. You want to keep it very simple, because again, you want to keep a steady head. But back to the braid, as you see, I am going in a downward motion now as I'm braiding. We started from the middle up, and now we're braiding down. And once we get to the bottom of this braid, that will be the first half of the heart design. So again, keep all the hair out the way, stitch it all the way down, and you're gonna braid this to the bottom of the square and clip it so you can do the same motion on the other side. All right, so now we're going on the other side. As you can see, I'm just molding the gel in there. The gel that I'm using today is the BLT Braiders gel. Sometimes I do see that it tends to have a like white residue, but I do really love the firmness and the hold to this gel. So I'm still gonna use it and just see if maybe if I switch up the mousse or maybe add some oil to it right after I finish the braids, it'll help with that residue once it dries. But as you can see, you're gonna go to the middle of this section, and this time, since it's the other half and you already have half of the heart braided, you want to make sure you're lining it up with the same middle part that you did on the opposite side, and it should go up into a V. You want to make a V. Do that part from the middle to the top corner, that top left corner this time, just as you did on the other side. Make sure you take your time. Comb out the hair. It's very important to comb out the hair when you're doing the stitch braids so the braid will lay nice and flat. So this side I did start it off with the African parting comb, and you're going to do the same thing as you did on the other side. Start from the middle and you're going to go up, and once you go up to that top corner, you grip that hair down and braid it down to the middle so it meets the other half of the heart. And again, this is in real time. I'm showing you how long it takes to do this braid. I've been braiding my daughter's hair for almost 3 years now. She's 5 years old. I'm not gonna lie, once I did a couple of the heart braids, I kind of regretted that I wanted to do the whole row, but I stuck to the style. She, thugged it out with me, stayed still as she could, and we made it through. But I really love the results, so keep watching so you can definitely see how it turned out in the end. I think this is a great style for Valentine's Day or just any really cute girly girl style. I love the pop of color at the bottom, but I'm gonna let you watch how I braid the other half, and then I will explain how you connect the two parts at the bottom. All right, so now when you're adding the hair, because we're at the bottom. What I like to do is the right side, I pull that braid over, and then I bring the left side down at the braiding hair. And then when I move the hair over to the left, add another piece of braiding hair. And you definitely want to make sure that you're tucking the natural hair under the braiding hair, as you can see, making it smooth all the way down so it's nice and tucked and the braid looks neat into one, because you're adding two different braids into one. So it's two pieces of hair, the natural hair, and then one piece of braiding hair. And I did this in a sort of goddess style, so I'm adding free tress deep curly hair in and then braiding it down. And once I braid it down 2 to 3 times, pull the hair out again, and the hair is nice and secure, and you still get the length of the curly hair. Once you have that curly hair nice and secure in the braid, you just keep braiding down as such. When you're doing knotless braids, you don't want to add too much braiding hair. You just want to add enough to make sure that the thickness is even across all the braids. So overall, also it depends on the length as well, but overall I probably add about 4 to 6 pieces, because these were larger braids and I wanted them long because my daughter likes the hair nice and long. And I curled the ends on this style as well with perm rods. So whenever I do a style where I'm going to dip the ends with the rods, I make sure that you braid it down long enough to where you have a good length braid, but you also want to ensure that you leave enough of the braiding hair straight out so you have a nice long curl as well. Sometimes when I do the goddess hair, I will curl the ends with the perm rods, because I think the perm rod curl is going to last way longer than any of the other curly hair. Now, unless you're cutting bundles off the track, synthetic curly hair like this free tress hair that I use on my daughter is going to tangle. The hair is going to tangle. Don't let anyone lie to you. The hair will tangle. Okay? So just know that when you're doing goddess. But as you see, you just get a little small piece, tie a knot, and that secures that. Now I have all the braids in. I am showing you the finishing touches. I go in with some mousse. I think I added a little spritz spray. And then I'm going in to make sure that the ends are nice and neat before I wrap them with the perm rod. And you have to wrap them each individually nice and tight on the perm rod. It's pretty self-explanatory. When you get the perm rods, you roll it around and then snap the top. Make sure the hair is tight on there. It's not hard to do at all. It's more of a tedious task than anything else. So some people do charge extra for this. I don't necessarily charge extra for kids on this, but you know, just know it's gonna take you an extra 15 to 20 minutes towards the end, depending on how many braids it is. And when I do kids' hair, shorter styles or any styles where I am dipping the ends with the curls, I use a cup versus a big pitcher, because you have better control with the hot water. And you have to really be careful with this hot water, y'all, because you want to get the water boiling hot. And when you're dealing with boiling hot water, you know, you don't want to burn your clients. That is just, you know, bad all the way, a lawsuit waiting to happen. So take your time. Using a cup or a smaller holder for the water, it's going to give you better control, and you'll have, you know, clarity that you are not burning your clients, because that is not what you want, okay? Now, after you dip all the hair, I go in with the spritz at the bottom on the rods, dry it off a little bit. Before you dip it, just leave them on there for a little, before you loosen them out. And there you have it. Look how pretty that is. I love those curls. I love it, love it, love it. and it blends so well with the curly hair that I added to the braids. With my daughter being so young and so active and not really knowing how to properly care for her hair on her own, I don't want to add too much of the free tress hair, but if this was an older client, I would definitely add some more of the curly pieces to give it a fuller look. But again, I think this came out great. As you can see, that nice pop of pink. It's a blended pink, but it has some brighter and lower tones of the pink color. I think it came out very, very cute. As you can see, we are just doing some, evening up of the curls at the bottom. Oh, forgot one. I forgot one. And that happens. It definitely happens. I'm just going in, fixing the one that I forgot, the Lone Soldier. And with these being larger braids, on some of the braids, I did split the hair at the bottom into two and had 2 rods on one braid. So it'll give you a few more curls there. But I'm just dipping the last braid, going in before I shape up the curls. Now I'm just going in with my scissors and making sure everything is nice and even. No straight pieces. Sometimes when you do curly styles, some of the ends might end up straight if you don't tuck it tight enough on the perm rod. So you just want to make sure you cut off all the straight pieces. Make the hair nice and even at the bottom. You don't want a super long curl and super short curl. So shape it up to your liking. And this is the final look. Make sure you let me know what you think in the comments. I loved it. My daughter loved it. I definitely highly recommend. Look at that gorgeous smile. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.